I just played in Magic Spotlight Series Spiderman. This event had 8 Pro Tour invites, $50,000, and an Infinity Gauntlet up for grabs. But people are saying this showcased one of the worst standard formats of all time, with low attendance, an insane promo card, and lots of Vivi. Let's recap Spotlight Spiderman. Coming off a decent Pro Tour finish, I had the fire to compete again. But there's a problem. I have to start from scratch. So, like most players, my journey started at my local game store. I bought my Vivi Cauldron cards, sleeved them, and signed up for my local RCQ. Ready to game. And no one else showed up. Except for my friend Ian, but more on him later. The event didn't fire, and people all told me it was because Vivi Cauldron was unfun and broken. So, I returned to my Magic Online chamber and started grinding. I played 2 challenges and top-8'd both of them with Vivi Cauldron. Along the way, my teammate Christian of PT Ian Rob fame and his friend Nick, who likes Lantern Control, both worked with me on the deck. We met on Monday night in Discord and definitely left no stone unturned.
Lantern Control.
Going into the Spotlight, the general consensus was that the Cauldron deck was broken, and there was no reason to be playing any other deck. Red was a defensible pick, and as I said, Simic and even blue-white aggro could maybe beat Cauldron, but not much else. I also might be to blame for the brief rise in blue-white aggro because I had a migraine when I played one of the challenges and kept a 1-lander on the play against the guy who won the event. Anyway, Thursday night, I started packing for my trip. Sleeves, dice, all the essentials. I was ready to drive to Baltimore early Friday morning to play in the 10 a.m. RCQ with my friend Dylan. We headed over to the vendors and picked up my crisp new Spiderman Power Crept Negates. And I helped Dylan iron out some sideboard stuff while we waited for round 1. We were running on little to no sleep, had driven 3 hours, and I won. I 5-0'd playing against Red, Cauldron, and 4-color control. Spider Sense. We finally check into the hotel and get complimentary gamer cupcakes. Seriously, in all my years, I've never seen this. Our friend Dan arrived and we grabbed some quick ramen, a known Baltimore delicacy, and ice cream before heading back to the room to finalize our deck lists.
Should I use a Magus of the Moon and a Harbinger of the Seas as my blue and red mana?
In typical Steve fashion, I changed 1 card from my 5-0 list just to feel something and submitted. Dylan winds up playing an emotional support planeswalker. And Dan, well... We meet up with other New Jersey Magic players before the start of round 1, make Jeff say the line,
Steve Stillman is 2 on 14 against me.
and I do content stuff with Sam Bogue. I won't be going too in-depth for each round, especially considering after the bans, Standard will look vastly different. I'll instead focus more on the stuff that makes these Magic tournaments fun.
I love League of Legends.
I'm against Mono Red round 1, and I win 2-0. My plan for this matchup is to port out the combo and rely on controlling the game before I stabilize with a Riddler or fear of missing out, and then turn the corner. Round 2. I'm paired into my first Vivi Cauldron mirror. Profts is extremely important, and my approach going into the tournament was to take a tempo role in the matchup. The big shark, with his borrowed wisdom, comes bearing gifts. 2-0. In what appears to be another Cauldron mirror, after I win game 1, my opponent tries to scam me by sending his Space Dragon through a wet circle, but I simply pierce the spell and attack with my Nightmare. My name is called to the feature match area this round. And I'm actually sitting next to my friend Ian, who also showed up to that RCQ that didn't fire. Anyway, I won my Cauldron mirror with my weird detectives 4-0. I'm against Mono Red again. According to plan, I lose game 1 because my Cauldrons can't kill Lizard Mercenaries. But games 2 and 3, I cast Become Toy over and over, hitting the mute button on multiple screaming Nemesi to have a giant FOMO cross the finish line. Round 6.
Steve Stillman, phenomenal player, 5-0.
I'm the feature match this round against Matthew Takahashi on Mono Red. Game 1, I keep a hand with early combo that would have won on the play, but on the draw has no interaction and gets obliterated.
If Steve was on the play there, I bet he wins that game. Now, Jim, 2 unable to scream, what do you like?
Kill spells.
Kill him.
2 unable to scream, 1 fresh start, turning off Nemesis, Torch Tower, Obliterating Bolt. Just keep things off the board. Buy yourself time and do your thing.
Game 2, my nightmares are on display. There's a spot where I could have played around Witchstalker Frenzy with 2 FOMOs, but if I do that, I play into Lightning Strike and push no damage at all. Regardless, 1 dies and then I kill with a huge FOMO after reading a new card.
I'm going to need an Oracle text on take for a ride. I think we're going to game 3 here,
I
folks.
think you took the words out of my mouth. Matthew tends to agree. And now the game that really matters, game 3 with mono red on the play. That can be tricky, of course, for Cauldron on the draw.
Game 3, I kept a hand with some interaction, a profs, and a FOMO. The most crucial turn of the game, my opponent decides to not attack with either nemesis, which, while it may look weird, won him the match. I had a Flood Ball in my hand and Winter Knight in my graveyard. If he attacks with one, I bounce the other, untap, and Winter Knight for lethal. The following turns I play a little too defensively and do a classic pass the turn without playing any spells, attacking, or blocking.
He's just standing there.
On the surface, this looks obviously wrong, and it still was, but I can explain. Clearly, my opponent had some big, clunky non-creature spells in hand, whether it be Witchstalker's Frenzy or an Act of Treason. If I flashback Winter Knight and tap out, he can attack and Witchstalker his own Screamer to kill me. He can also finally use the Threaten in his hand to kill me with the FOMO I just made massive. My idea here was I had to one-shot him or I was dead for sure. In hindsight, I clearly should have tapped the FOMO to flashback stories the first turn I passed without doing anything. If he had Active Treason, he likely would have used it anyway earlier. He untaps and double lightning strikes me to kill me. Yippee! Also, Corey's the GOAT for complimenting my basics.
That's the right mountains. That's my favorite lands, those John Avon full art lands.
For the day 2 winning in, I'm paired into my good friend and former One Piece CCG grinder, Ryan Alcorn. Last time we played, he beat me in the Phoenix Mirror, but this time, I won in the Vivi Mirror. Round 8. This round, I'm paired into my friend Vinny Fino, who just won Regional Championship Dallas with Jeskai Blink in Modern. He wrote a huge guide on that deck, by the way, which I recommend. We're playing the Vivi Mirror, and game 1 is crazy, where he establishes the combo, but has no gas, and then I do the same. We pass back and forth until he attempts to put me to sleep with a bedtime story, but I stay awake due to my nightmares and kill him on my turn. Game 2, Vinny gives me a fish and starts digging for a token. I reach into my deck box and pull out a heavily played Blue Eyes White Dragon that Vinny gave me back at RC Hartford when I qualified for the PT. He gave it to me because he noticed me using my Blue Eyes as tokens. Love Vinny. The Blue Eyes powered up my board state and I won the match. I'm back. In the feature match area this round for yet another Vivi Mirror. Me and my opponent are both pretty tired at this point, and it really shows in game 3. I distinctly recall Nick Miller walking over to spectate on what should be my final turn of the game. I tap low with Winter Knight Stories, looking for a Flood Maw to disrupt my opponent's turn if they're able to combo. I miss, but find Cauldron and Vivi, and I have to pass with 1 mana up. My opponent untaps and warps a Riddler to draw 2 cards. With multiple Winter Knight Stories in the yard, a profs, and the combo, he has it all. I'm surely dead if he can just remove my 1 blocker and attack with a huge Scholar, but by some miracle, I get to chump with my Scholar. I have no board, 2 cards, I draw into the Flood Maw. Check the scoreboard, and my opponent is at 2 life. I cast Vivi on a tier. I cast Cauldron, trigger Vivi, 1 life. They respond with something, I forget what it was. It does not matter. I summon my Gift of Fish card and ping them with Vivi, 0 life. 8-1 is a solid day 1 record, but I'm not celebrating before the finish line. Me and the New Jersey gamers did our annual pilgrimage to Baltimore's best chicken spot, Ekibon. The best part of a Magic weekend is usually an 18-person dinner at like 9 p.m. This is a universal experience. Let the record show, I went to bed early and drank only water to stay locked in.
Welcome to coverage here of Magic Spotlight Spider-Man. Steve Stillman's.
I won't go into depth on every match, but it was a brutal day. Here are some highlights and what I learned. I'm on backup feature again, playing in my 7th Vivi Cauldron mirror. I see both the braids, and they kill 2 cauldrons. The 3rd cauldron is how they get you. Christian said that I played like a beast. I lose, and this is fine, because Spiderman would also have his back up against the wall, and I'm him. Round 11 is where I learned the most on the weekend. I'm against Zoomer Jacob Milchman, and he has 2 Nathans in his deck. This was the ideal card for the mirror. Earlier, I mentioned that I'd been taking a tempo roll in the mirror, leaning on Magos and Profs for this plan. Nathan is essentially Prof's copies 5 and 6. It has 3 toughness to dodge Torch the Tower, and post-board, my plan is to bring in 2 Annul, which is basically Spell Snare in the mirror. It hits everything you need it to. FOMO, Cauldron, Profs. Duelist of the Mind dodges both of these cards. Sure, the Abrades also kill Duelist, and that didn't come up, but Nathan's came up huge for Jacob in this match. Maybe, if I had more time, if I had taken more risks, I'd have also found Duelist for an edge in the mirror. But alas, I got Nathaned. I lose the next mirrors, less so to tech, but I think the variance caught up to me. Basically, I got unlucky and there's nothing I could have done. It was in this moment I realized I wasn't Spider-Man at all. I was actually Uncle Ben, dead for top 8. 14 rounds in, I finally play against a non-red deck, and to mirror mid-range. So, I'm able to prevent complete collapse and finally get my first win of day 2. I intentionally draw the last round with Amulet Titan Preacher and former teammate Dom Harvey, so we can lock up top 64 and avoid playing my 11th Vivi mirror of the tournament. I finished in 59th, winning a foil spectacular Spiderman and got some cash for my finish. The entire weekend, everyone was stoked to be playing in an open tournament with coverage, Pro Tour invites, and great prizes on the line. A tournament that felt like it mattered. All in all, I didn't let coming up short of my goal ruin a fantastic weekend, or a spectacular weekend. Instantly requalifying for the Pro Tour would have been too easy anyway for a hero like me. Next up for our hero is Regional Championship Vegas, where I'll be battling once again for glory, gambling, and a shot to get back on the train.